So Crocs was my very first retail job and second job ever, and it was nice that I was hired without having any past retail experience. Crocs also has a selection of other clogs such as platform, mega crush, all-terrain, and work shoes. There's always something to do. Standing around and doing nothing is not acceptable. No shade to any of them though, but it's just not fair. Really, think about it, it's really unfair. The whole doggone unit will be full, shoes hanging up, box in there can barely move in the room. On some days at that store, I was the little chip of wood that was keeping the table even. I did my part. That's all I gotta say. I did my part, and then somebody explained it to her as best as I could. But she still didn't get it, or she just doesn't listen. And before we wrap it up, I'm gonna tell you guys why I decided to quit Crocs. Drum roll, please. The big moment that you guys have been waiting for. Do Crocs employees get free Crocs? And the answer is what is good, guys? So I am back at it again with a brand new job experience video. I'll be talking about my experience working at Crocs. Guys, the cat is finally out of the bag. I have been keeping I've been keeping that a secret to the public for all 6 years because no one needs to know where I work. No one needs to know my business. So I'm basically making this video for anybody who is interested in applying to Crocs, interested in working for Crocs. I just wanted to tell them what to expect, and I also want to tell them some of my personal experiences while working there. And before we get started, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and join Club Pinky. And if you have joined, press that bell so you can be part of the notification squad and know whenever I post videos. Before I get into everything, I'm just going to say that I'm not going to include all of my personal experiences because they do not pertain to the universal Crocs employee experience. I won't spill any tea or anybody's personal business. I want you guys to note that every Crocs location differs. Some are better than others, to be honest. I'm not gonna disclose any information on store statistics because it is confidential to the company. And some things that I'm mentioning are subject to change. Be sure to touch bases with your store manager if you have any questions. And to my former Crocs coworkers who are watching this, hi. Please do not go running and telling anyone who works in my old store what I've said about some of the things here. And as I stated earlier, to be honest, I'm holding in real tea. So it's back in April 2017. I just happened to be on my computer shopping for some Crocs to wear in the backyard at home. And at that time, I was unfortunately unemployed. I stumbled upon the Crocs website. Not only did I cop a pair of Crocs and a brand new pair of Crocs rain boots, I saw the career section at the bottom of the page and I was like, why not? And I ended up finding a location 10 miles away from me that was hiring, so I sent in an application. Around a week later, the manager reached out to me and scheduled an interview. So on the day of the interview, I dressed professionally. I wore some tan pants, a white button-up shirt, and a gray blazer. And I also wore some Crocs classic clogs. Remember guys, it is key to have some sort of merchandise that the store you're applying to sells. And that goes to show that you're already enthusiastic about the company. And when I came in for the interview, the manager complimented me on my Crocs. And as far as the actual interview, I can't remember everything that was asked. The manager asked me a little bit about myself. He asked me what I knew about the company, how I would go about servicing customers in store. And to be honest, that was the first interview that I had ever had without being nervous. Thankfully, I did some research on the company and gave him a little bit of information on the Crocs company. And then later that day, I got an email confirming that I got the job. And I was so ecstatic. Because in the past, I had bad luck with job interviews. Like literally every job interview that I had done before that, they'd move on to other candidates. Probably because I didn't have any experience in retail. So Crocs was my very first retail job and second job ever. And it was nice that I was hired without having any past retail experience. My position was seasonal sales associate, but I did so well, showed up and showed out during my shifts, and they decided to keep me as a regular associate. On your first day of work, you will do training. You will start out sitting in the back watching instructional videos. After that, you'll be given a tour of the store, you'll be introduced to coworkers, and then they'll go over some rules too. You'll be taught how to perform certain operational roles such as greeter, customer service, charm station, filling, and cashier. Then, you'll get to try out one of those roles under the supervision of a manager. Over time, your strengths and weaknesses will be observed by a manager, and you will be assigned a task that you're good at. For example, if you're killing it as cashier and doing everything that you're supposed to do, offering, selling accessories, inviting customers to take advantage of store promotions to the fullest, handling cash and card transactions properly, and driving results, they'll put you on register because you're helping the store out. Product knowledge will come naturally as you work more and more. And do not be afraid to ask questions. I don't know if I'm supposed to reveal this, so I won't. But there's an acronym that Crocs uses with strategies that are used for executing the perfect customer service experience. It's basically Crocs protocol to help your store succeed. As far as pay per hour, pay depends on geographic area, state laws, and experience. Before I resigned, I was earning $16 an hour from Crocs. The pay had gradually gone up over the past 6 years because of inflation. Sales associate pay ranges from $13 to $25 an hour. Team lead pay ranges from $14 to $26 an hour. Assistant manager pay ranges from $17 to $29 an hour. And general store manager pay ranges from $22.60 to $43.08 per hour. As I said, pay depends on the geographic area and state laws. Ask your manager how much they pay at the location that you're interested in applying to. At Crocs, I have been assigned to / mastered just about every role that can be performed by a sales associate. For my last 2.5 years at Crocs, I was assigned to be primary cashier for most of my shifts. Why? Because I pulled in accessories, Feeding America donations, and I upsold. There are different roles that sales associates can take on at the Crocs store, and I'll go over every one. On busy days at larger store locations, a door monitor is required to stand at the main entrance to keep the store capacity intact and manage the waiting line. If the store is at capacity, no one else can come in. They have to wait in line. The same amount of people who exit the store are supposed to be let in to maintain the capacity, and vice versa. A door monitor is also supposed to offer customers who enter a shopping bag, flyers if available, tell them about store promotions, greet them upon entering, and tell them goodbye and thank you upon them leaving. The greeter is to remain at the front of the store to greet consumers and offer them a bag. It's kind of similar to door monitor. They too are welcome to tell customers about sales. They assist customers in the front of the store with things such as answering questions and helping them find sizes and models of shoes. You can replenish the sales floor if it's okay with your manager on duty. You can size shoes, pick shoes up off the floor and hang them back up, tie shoelaces, decorate shoes with charms for the sight lines. I'll get into sight lines later. There's always something to do. Standing around and doing nothing is not acceptable. This applies to every role. If it's not busy and you don't have any tasks, ask your manager on duty to give you one. For general customer service, you will be zoned in a certain part of the store. Front, middle, back halves, or floating. You are to help customers find shoe sizes and models, offer shopping bags to anyone who may need them, go to the back to retrieve a shoe for a customer, replenish, pick up shoes from the floor and hang them back up, and tell customers about the promotions. This person is to remain at the charm station and keep charms neat and organized in between shoppers. They are also supposed to tell customers about charm bundle deals, give them charm holders, help them find charms, and replenish the charms. Charm people can work on sight lines too. So let me tell you guys what sight lines are. Sight lines are shoes that are decorated with charms at the top of a fixture or within 4 to 5 feet above the ground on the wall. It just basically gives customers inspiration and a demonstration on how to decorate their shoes. They also may be asked to help a customer in a different section of the store or retrieve an item from the back. When you're a cashier, you are an ambassador of sales. You bring up customers, you upsell, sell reusable bags, Crocs Shine, and socks, which are a little harder to sell. If we're having a buy 4 get 1 free charm sale and a customer walks up with 4 charms, you can tell them that they are eligible to get 1 more charm for free. If we're having buy 1 get 1 25% off for regular price shoes, ask them if they want to get another pair of shoes for 25% off. Shoot, even pick up the calculator and tell them how much the second shoe will be, and tell them how much the total would be, so they will know how much they are saving, which will help convince them to buy more. You are to bag up merchandise and give it to the customer, and make sure that you give customers the correct amount of change. Everyone who's at register has to pull their weight. It is a privilege to be a cashier. If your drawer is short by a certain amount, you will get a documentation. Cashiers also perform returns and exchanges. Managers perform online returns most of the time. When returning or exchanging, shoes must be in good condition and not worn outside. And it must be within the 45-day in-store window and 90-day online window. A replenisher takes note of how many shoes in a section need to be pulled from the back, retrieves them, and hangs them on the sales floor. Replenishing mostly happens during closing, busy weekends, and sometimes when it's slow. Associates who are assisting with shipment help the stock team lead or manager unpack shoes from shipment, price them, and backstock or place the shoes on the sales floor. No phones are allowed on the sales floor during your shift. Only managers can have their phones out. Your phone must remain in your locker during your shift. There are cameras in the store that your store manager and area manager have access to, and they can see things such as people using their phones and standing around doing nothing. So just be very mindful. Closing roles include replenishing the sales floor, taking out the trash, sweeping and mopping, while the manager on duty counts out the registers and sends emails. So the Crocs store sells a number of things. They sell all sorts of Crocs shoes, Jibbitz shoe charms, socks, Crocs shine, and reusable bags. Crocs' staple is the notorious classic clog. Crocs also has a selection of other clogs such as platform, Mega Crush, all-terrain, and work shoes. They sell sandals, slides, flip-flops, and tennis shoes. Not all colors, sizes, and models of shoes are available at Crocs stores. Some shoes are Crocs.com exclusives and or limited edition. If you work at an outlet store, like the ones I did, they will run promotions. For charms, they have buy 4 get 1 free, buy 9 get 4 free, buy 14 get 12 free. For regular price shoes, they like to run buy 1 get 1 25% off with exclusions. There are certain things that are confidential to the company. Those things include sales goals and conversions, upcoming shoe releases which have not been announced on the Crocs website or Crocs social media, documents such as employee newsletter, and loss prevention information posters. Crocs takes loss prevention very seriously, whether it's customers or employees. Whether you're leaving the store for your lunch break or because you just clocked out and you have your bag, you will be required to do a bag check in front of the cameras, and it must be performed by a manager. Any employee theft will result in immediate termination. Now, as far as customer loss prevention, you always need to keep an eye on the sales floor. If there's only 2 of you in the front and 1 of you goes to the back, and for example, someone asks you to look for a shoe, you can't go to the back. You need to wait until the other employee comes out so they can keep an eye on the floor. You are to never, ever, ever accuse a customer of stealing. Just provide good customer service. If you see that someone is stealing, let a manager know so they can keep an eye on the person. If a customer does end up stealing, you are not to chase them out of the store to retrieve the item that they took. And if that happens, you let a manager know. You will learn more about this upon your hiring. Let's get into dress code. For dress code at Crocs, you are required to wear a pair of Crocs. They don't just have to be the classic clog. You can wear any pair of Crocs to work. All types of Crocs are permitted. Now, as far as clothing, they do not allow graphic tees unless they're the ones provided by the Crocs company. No spaghetti straps. As of January 1st, 2023, no leggings. Ripped jeans are okay as long as there aren't a lot of rips. No short shorts. Dresses and skirts are alright as long as they're not too short. The amount of hours that your store gives out is based on your store's traffic and needs. The more traffic your store gets, the more money they make, which means they're able to give out more hours. You are expected to arrive to work on time. You have a 15-minute grace period before your shift starts before you are considered late. If you're running late, you are to call the store's number and not call or text manager or associate phones. Tardies will be added to your attendance record. Be courteous of others who are scheduled to go on their breaks or leave after you arrive. Make an effort to be on time. If you are late, you are to put your things in your locker before you clock in. Crocs' punch/scheduling system is also on an app that you can download to your phone. On the go, you can see your schedule, make time off requests, pick up open shifts, and switch shifts. No call/no shows are an automatic termination. If it's the day of your shift and you need to call out, you must do so at least 2 hours before your shift and find an eligible coworker to cover for you. If you're a sales associate, you cannot ask a team lead or assistant manager to cover for you, and vice versa. If someone does choose to pick up your shift, you must confirm it with the manager on duty for that day. If you call out for your shift the same day and can't find a cover, that absence will be added to your attendance record. Now, the moment you guys have been waiting for. What are the perks of working at Crocs? They do give out Crocs t-shirts every so often. They gave us hoodies one time, stuff with the Crocs name on it like lanyards, koozies. One time they gave us a cooler bag. They also have an incentive program. Through this incentive program, you can send a shout out to anybody in the Crocs company to tell them good job on a certain achievement such as high sales, conversion, accessory goals. You can thank them for helping you out with something. Wish them a happy birthday, happy anniversary with the company. It's somewhat like an exclusive social media platform whenever you achieve something, but they don't do this every day. For example, if your cashier and your manager decides to give you a challenge and say, sell 5 packs of socks before your shift ends, I'll give you 50 points. And if you achieve that, the manager will send you points. Your district manager can pass out on-the-spot cards with points that you can redeem if they're visiting and they see you doing a good job on something. You can also earn points from ranking in first, second, or third place in seasonal district sales competitions between stores. Now with these points, you can redeem them for travel experiences or merchandise. The experiences include plane tickets, concerts, etc. I never really looked into the experiences. If you get enough points, you can get a plane ticket to wherever you want to go. As long as you have the right amount of points, you can fly basically for free. That is dope right there. Now, merchandise. They have all sorts of cool merchandise. They have flat screen TVs, Apple computers, bed sheets, purses, furniture for the home like chairs and stuff like that. Just to name a few things that I got: a Roku, a ring light, got my mom a vacuum for Mother's Day, iPad, got a picnic blanket, cheetah print satin bed sheets, just to name a few. Now I will say that some stuff is hit or miss in quality, like those shoe shelves that I got, but otherwise the stuff is pretty good, pretty nice. Drum roll please. The big moment that you guys have been waiting for. The elephant in the room that people who don't work for Crocs want to address. Do Crocs employees get free Crocs? And the answer is yes. Yes, they do. But wait, there's more. You can get a free pair of classic clogs upon hiring, 50% off discount whatever you purchase in store, 70% off a pair of Crocs, 10 individual charms or 2 charm packs, and a pair of Croc socks every March, June, September, and December. Free pair of Crocs for every year that you're with the company. Free pair of Crocs for teams that win sales contests in the district. And a free designated model of Crocs for product launches or store promotions for certain styles. I know you guys are thinking, oh, your experience at Crocs was fine and dandy. Well, it wasn't all sunshine and lollipops. I did have some grievances while working there. Hopefully you guys don't run into these problems, but you never know, you might. This started like around 2020, 2021. We started getting more shoes. So therefore that meant less space in the back. We had a back room where we'd hang shoes and an offsite. Not all Crocs locations have offsites. Some have to get like a storage unit away from the mall. And our offsite was basically a building on the mall property. It was like a unit for us to store extra stuff. The whole doggone unit will be full. Shoes hanging up, box in there, can barely move in the room. Since we had a lack of space, we would have to keep some of the shoes in boxes and leave them out in the back hallway. And when it was time to close, they'd have to have employees put them on the hand truck, take them inside, put them on the sales floor, stack them up, go in and out to bring them all out. And that was just a headache to me. Like I wouldn't want to close because I'd have to deal with putting those boxes outside. You know what I'm saying? And at one point, our store did have to get a storage unit, like 10 minutes from the mall or whatever. Yeah, and I just hated having to haul in boxes. Like, sometimes, like, I would open and they'd have to have me put the boxes out in the back hallway, take them off the sales floor. Got me all hot and sweaty before my shift starts. Like, that's unacceptable. Number 2, another grievance, the attendance policy. I just hate the fact that if you can't find someone to cover for you the same day of your shift and you decide to call out, it goes on your attendance record. Like, we would have people coming into work sick, spreading all their germs and stuff. And then sometimes I'd catch them. And then I wouldn't feel well enough to go to work. Most of the time, no one was able to cover for me. If I tell them I can't find anyone to cover, sometimes some people would say, oh yeah, oh it's okay. Some people would say, oh, this is going to be put on your record. But during COVID, we could call the store and say, oh, I just found out I have COVID. They'd be like, oh, it's okay. No, just stay home for 4 days, blah, blah. We'll find someone to cover. But if I say, oh, I can't come today, I have a cold. Oh, I can't make it today, I have an emergency. Like, okay, if you can't find anybody, it's going to go on your record. Just a thin line. That just didn't make sense to me. But I'm just glad I don't have to deal with that anymore. Number 3. Wishy-washiness / occasional lack of communication between coworkers. And my last grievance was getting called in on my days off. Now, don't get me wrong. If you get called in, you have every right to say no. In the beginning of me working at Crocs, I would literally stop what I was doing to cover. Then I got tired of it. As I stated earlier, I had every right to say no. But I wanted the money. I needed the money. And I felt like they needed help. During my last few months with the company, on the rare occasion that I had a Saturday or a Sunday off, someone would always call me in and I said no every time. I'm way too deep into my weekend. I'm not about to get up and go all the way over there. You guys want to give me the Uber money to do so? Like, yeah, near the end of me working at Crocs, I grew tired of working weekends, and having weekends off became a luxury to me. Even though I have many more grievances that I've experienced at Crocs, I'm going to end them here, because they do not pertain to the universal Crocs experience. Now, working at Crocs, you might run into some bad apples. I really hope you don't have to encounter this, but it will most likely happen, so just be prepared. I have a few stories to tell about some bad apples that I have encountered. Here's a good one. You know what? For this story, I'm just gonna put the clip of my Insta snap of me telling the whole story, because I can't remember the whole thing perfectly right now. Alright, y'all, here's the story time about what happened at work today. So, I was cashier as usual. And at our store, we're having buy one, get one 25% off regular price items, right? But then we have exclusions. So, this woman walks up to the cash register, and she has 2 pairs of black shoes. And those black shoes that she got are excluded from the promotion. And I was like, okay, if you get these, you won't be able to get the buy one, get one 25% off because this particular color of this model is excluded. And then she was like, what color can you get? So I told her that she could get the shoes, anything with a white sticker, regular price, and anything that is not sitting underneath the green sign saying that it's excluded. And I was like, so I gave her a little example. It's like, see those purple ones over there? Those ones are sitting underneath the green square, so you wouldn't be able to get them for the 25% off. And she was like, oh, so you can't get the same color? So then I even give her an example of how she can get one regular and one exclusion for 25% off. I mean, one inclusion. So I was like, so I told her, so if you want to, you can get one black one and get, for example, a sky blue one for 25% off because the sky blue isn't excluded. She was like, oh, okay. So she goes off and looks for another shoe. So I hold her stuff to the side, right? A few minutes later, she comes back to the register with 2 shoes. She comes back to the register with another shoe. And she was like, oh, I just want the size 5 of the black one. So I take the black one off the counter. And then the shoe that she picked out while she was gone is navy blue. Navy blue is also excluded from it. And then I proceeded to tell her that the navy blue is excluded also. And then she had her shoes like this. She was like, it's not even the same color. And then I was like, that navy blue one has a sign saying that it's excluded. She's like, I don't even want it anymore. And then she just walked out the store. And I was like, wow. People are something else. I guess that's simple. I did my part. That's all I gotta say. I did my part, and then somebody explained it to her as best as I could. But she still didn't get it. Or she just doesn't listen. Like. But thinking about it, like after it happened, I thought that was funny. Like, it's not my fault you don't understand. Like, or you don't listen. And it's so funny that people want to get mad at you because they don't know how to comprehend themselves. Be mad at yourself for not reading, for not listening, for not doing whatever you need to do. Like, crazy, right? Another time we had this woman try to return some black fuzz-lined shoes. They weren't worn on the bottom, but they were obviously like worn on the inside. Because when you wear fuzz-lined Crocs, the fuzz gets matted, after you wear them over and over and over again. And she was trying to return them. Then she got mad, talking about how they don't have any signs anywhere, talking about how the shoes have to be unworn before you return them. And then they ended up having to call security. And in the end, she ended up getting her way. They did the exchange and gave her the doggone shoes, even though they were worn. They do sometimes make exceptions for shoes that are worn for exchanges, only if they're like a little worn on the bottom. But if they're too worn, we can't accept them at all. Basically, to sum it up, when working in customer service, you will encounter some bad apples. Even though occasional negativity does come into the workplace, I have achieved some positive things, such as getting Employee of the Month twice each year from 2017 to 2021. I've gotten top sales, top Crocs Shine sales, and back when we were collecting customer emails, I had one of the top 5 largest amount of collected emails in the company. Now that's big. And before we wrap it up, I'm going to tell you guys why I decided to quit Crocs. Once again, before I go into this, former coworkers, please do not go running and telling people that I used to work with some of the things that I'm about to say. Please, don't call me about this video because I will not answer. I felt like I was tied down to that job at one point. I grew tired of working closing shifts, even though at one point they started giving just about everybody one closing shift a week, which was nice. I really love how they made the accommodation for us. I also got tired of working weekends, even though my availability said that I can work weekends. Around 5.5 years of me working at the company, working at Crocs, I just started to feel glum about going to work. I still did find some joy in my job. The big ego in me just loved the fact that I had the longest tenure of anybody and lots of experience there. I was tired of traveling back and forth over there. That place is not down the street from me. Yes, I know that I chose to work there. Yes, I know that it's mostly my fault. But thanks to the doggone DMV not giving me my driver's license, most days I took Uber to and from work. I lived 12 miles away from the last location that I worked at, and when you added up how much Uber costed for each week, it wasn't cheap. Not very fiscally responsible on my end. And I just know that if I were to ask for Uber reimbursement, they would have said no, no matter how good of an employee I was. When we were getting ready to temporarily close for store remodel, they were thinking about having employees from our store work at other Crocs stores. And Crocs stores are very spread out. So they were basically going to have us work at other stores until we reopened. Months before we closed for the remodel, I asked my manager if the company could give me an Uber gift card so I could Uber from home to the other locations, which are further away. She said no, they couldn't. Another option was to go on furlough and get unemployment, and they ended up not following through with that. They just had the members of management work at other stores during the remodel and have associates just go on furlough and get unemployment. I know good and well that the company had enough money to break me off a little something. They were remodeling almost every location in the country. And not to mention those little trinkets they would give out. The t-shirts and the little swag and stuff that I mentioned earlier. They're spending money on all that other stuff just to give out. And they couldn't even give me a raise. Couldn't give me a promotion. Couldn't even give me half or 1/4 of travel reimbursement. And it's not like I was a bad employee. On some days at that store, I was the little chip of wood that was keeping the table even. Let's just say the store was a table. And the table has one leg that's a little shorter than the others. And I was that little chip of wood that was slid underneath that table leg to keep it even. And what I mean by that is I excelled in sales, accessories, customer service. Some years ago, I would help the store reach their Crocs Shine accessories for the day all by myself. I was basically a freaking underpaid brand ambassador for Crocs. You guys know how Hank Hill from King of the Hill was a propane fanatic? Well, I was a Crocs fanatic. When I'd go out in public, people would compliment me on my Crocs and ask me where I get them. I would tell them, I got them from the Crocs at the blah 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 mall. And you know what else? Before I quit, I had the longest tenure out of everyone that worked at the location that I was at. And I was never given or even offered a promotion. It was a doggone slap in the face seeing people who had just been with the company 2 years, seeing people who started after me get promoted to team lead and assistant manager. No shade to any of them though, but it's just not fair. Really, think about it, it's really unfair. You know that incentive program that I brought up earlier? Well, on there, you have to make a profile with your name, store you work at, and your position. And on the timeline on there, I just happened to stumble upon 3 people who were sales associates back when I worked with them, who now work at other stores. Tell me why all 3 of those people were promoted to team lead? Like, the math isn't mathing. And all of those people started working at Crocs after me. I'm just gonna be honest, I probably wouldn't have had all the leadership skills to be a team lead, but they could have at least asked. I was good at nearly everything that an associate can do. Replenishing, customer service. I followed store initiatives. I was a freaking role model. Went above and beyond with my customer service. I put myself in customers' shoes and went the extra mile for them because I would want someone to do the same for me. Shoot, sometimes I made better decisions than management and was a better communicator than some members of management. I don't know if I wasn't offered a promotion because I was such a good cashier and they just wanted to keep me as the cashier because managers can't be cashiers during their segments, or if they had seen some of the weaknesses that I had exhibited at some points through small mistakes I had made. I seriously don't know. I guess this is my life. Having my qualities be overlooked and not be offered special opportunities. Now, I'm not gonna cap. It's not all bad. I did receive some sort of recognition for my achievements at times. I just feel as if I deserved more. A month before I quit Crocs, I started a 3rd job elsewhere. That place pays the same per hour as Crocs. It was closer to me. I could take the bus to work and Uber at night. Plus, I like the work environment better. Everyone there is chill. Management is chill as long as you do what you're supposed to, which I do. Don't have to tell me what to do. And their attendance policy is looser. It's not a retail store though, so of course things are going to be different. To sum it up, the job is sweet. Not even 2 weeks after I started working there, I started thinking about quitting Crocs.
I know. It's for a little while up.
But I sent in my resignation letter exactly 6 years from the date of my first day at Crocs. Not working at Crocs is something that I will have to get used to. To be honest, I kind of am used to it already. What's today? 5? It's been, as of this recording, it's been 1 week since I quit Crocs. But I do feel some sort of freedom from not being tied down to that place.
And nothing hurts anymore. I feel kind of free.
Whew, yeah. I know you guys are thinking that was a lot, but I'm about to wrap it up right here. Overall, I'd like to give Crocs a 4 out of 5 stars. The job isn't for everyone. Might not work out. We've had people quit on their first day. We've had people go to lunch and never come back. It did have some flaws, but I will say it's a cool place to work. It's not 100% perfect. No job is. So that is all I have to say about my experience at Crocs. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I know it was long, I talk a lot. If you guys enjoyed, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and join Club Pinky. Because if you aren't part of Club Pinky, what are you doing with your life? I have 2 other job experience videos on my channel, one for Kate Spade New York and one for Bath & Body Works. You should check those out too. I made a little playlist for those. This one will be part of the playlist, so subscribe to my channel. When I reach 3,000 subscribers, I do plan on releasing an interesting, juicy story time. As of right now, I'm at 2.5k. Just slide me around 500 more subscribers and I will get that story time out to you guys. Be sure to check out my other videos on my channel too. I make reactions, ASMR mukbangs, and more. We do have fun here. And follow me on social media. Follow me on Twitter at IOUMoreThanThis. Follow me on Instagram at _Pinky Botzcowski. And at me on Snapchat, Pinky-Bots. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!